Ladies and gentlemen, it is pro wrestling's giant personality, the height of independent wrestling, Mr. Larger Than Life, big time Ethan Higher, and you're watching the Final Count podcast.
This is Mega Mondo, and you're Mega listening and Mega watching the Final Count podcast. Yeah!
This is former WWE and TNA Impact superstar Mike Knox, a.k.a. Nux. You are listening to the Final Count. Keep it tuned. Hey everybody, Anthony Corelli here, formerly known as Santino Morella. You are listening to the Final Count.
This is former WWE superstar Victor, and you are listening to the Final Count.
Hi everybody, my name's Berto, and this is my service animal, Hippo, with our good friend Eric. Eric, and you're here listening and watching the Final Count podcast. Yay!
Hey, it's Eric Orris, voice of the Valley from OVW, and you're checking out the Final Count. Citizens, this is Super Z, and you're watching the Final Count.
Welcome to the Final Count. Here is your host, Rymode Mosley, and your co-host, the 502 Ace, Brian Dixon.
What's up?
Sorry, Brian Dixon turned into me really quick.
Brian Dixon turned into our good friend Neil Brewer. He is also from BullPen Pro Wrestling. He is the GM, the general manager of BullPen Pro Wrestling, and he is not a unfamiliar face around here at the Final Count. And you're going to be seeing more of him. And so, yes, you're going to be seeing plenty more of him over the coming weeks and months and down the road, and we'll see how everything goes, and everything's going to go great. And you know what? I'm excited. It's the Final Count. It is that time of the week again. It's an exciting time. It's coming up on the end of the year, getting ready to start a new year. It's been an exciting year of wrestling. It really has. It's like I said, it's that time of the year where we get ready to close the year, go to a new chapter. What are some things that you're excited about? And we'll talk about this here in a couple weeks. But what are some things, that you're excited about looking forward with the next year of wrestling?
Well, I think pretty much top of what everyone's list should be is, John Cena's farewell tour. I'll be at the Royal Rumble in Indy. So there is no way I could miss that. So I'm really excited to see what they do with that. One of the biggest questions I have, I guess, as far as WWE in the wrestling world right now, who are you talking about?
Oh, John Cena.
Oh, John Cena, yeah, is if he is going to break Ric Flair's record and finally get that, 17th world title. I'm sure that's definitely going to be part of whatever angle he's working and stuff. But that and OVW, just for what, kind of happens next. The thing after the holiday season is most, wrestling promotions, whether you're local or obviously WWE, it really starts to kick off, the prime wrestling season. Whether this is generally a rumble of some sort leading into, a big show event, WrestleMania. And then the one they had out in Pikeville, I forgot what was the name of that Fight Night, wasn't it?
Fight Night, yes.
Yeah, it's like kind of the OVW equivalent of that. And it's also just a new year. There's generally lots of cool returns, things happening. WrestleMania season starts to take shape. So that is definitely what I'm looking forward to.
Most definitely. Yeah, same here. You talk about John Cena, and then you have to talk about, who could he possibly have matches with next year. And it's like just thinking about who is gonna wrestle and what shows he's gonna appear on. If he's gonna appear on multiple Raws, multiple SmackDowns.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Yeah, definitely. I can't imagine him not. But
Yeah,
it is with his, I think he's on some close to a 5-year losing streak right now and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would say that, since the 2010s and stuff, this is the most interesting point, in John Cena's career, because it's like I've got no idea really where this whole thing is gonna go.
Yeah,
and I think that's why people got burnt on Cena for a while too, is because it was just so obvious, whenever he's feuding with people like Rusev and stuff like that. It's, I'm a huge fan, but it's just like with John Cena running an unpredictable angle and you don't know what's going to happen is a pretty refreshing event for the new year.
It really is. It really is. And, it's going to be bittersweet, I think, whenever he finally does hang up the boots at the end of next year. It's going to be, I feel, bittersweet. Whether you like the guy or dislike the guy, he literally is leaving when he hangs the boots up. He literally is going to be leaving a large legacy on the business. And I'm sure, he'll be behind scenes in some way at some point.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But no, when it's time to, obviously never say never, but, whenever John Cena is talking about this being retirement, it definitely, at least initially, feels more real. Like I kind of, believe him. You never know what's going to happen, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, so-and-so will be back. It's just like, nah, this really, as far as in-ring stuff, this may be it.
Of course, exactly. And then you talk about, Royal Rumble seasons or Battle Royal season, after holidays, and that's the exciting thing too. It is exciting to enter into a new year and close out one, enter into a new one. It is exciting because, like you said, the promotions, whether it's an indie promotion, whether it's WWE, TNA, AEW, even, not that AEW has a Battle Royal or anything right now, but
that probably wouldn't be too great.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but like, just indie promotions and everything, they have their Royal Rumbles, they have their Battle Royals, their, whatever that is, chase to the championship. But it's really cool to see the excitement of a new season in wrestling. And so, with that being said, we're going to jump into, we have, as you're watching this on Saturday, it is tonight. We have 2 shows that we're going to do predictions for. And that first one is WWE Saturday Night's main event is returning. And what a huge, it's going to be a throwback feel to it. I know there's going to be Jesse the Body Ventura is going to be back. I've heard of some other names. Ted DiBiase was rumored to
That'd be shocking.
Yeah. I heard he's having to pull out of it for some reason, unforeseen circumstances. But
I assume it's something legal, but you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Beware, I believe, and a few other names I've heard.
I don't know if you know this. I'd have to look it up. So main event, obviously that's a pay-per-view that's happening tomorrow. It's like the nostalgia show and stuff.
Yes.
Does WWE, they still don't put out main events like the 1 hour pre-show like that would be before, or is main event still running and taping right now? I honestly don't know.
The main event, like the actual show?
Yeah, like the Wednesday, like they started out there because it was a Wednesday night main event. The debut match at the time was champion versus champion. It was CM Punk versus Sheamus whenever CM Punk, was in his title reign and stuff. And they had that first, Wednesday night main event. And in those first couple of months, they obviously had that, which was big. The Intercontinental title actually switched hands. I think The Miz took it from Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
And then it just became, your hour show that no one watched anymore after a little bit. But do you know, is that program still running or is that not now? And they're just bringing back this pay-per-view.
I want to say it's still being taped. I think before Raw, I believe. But I don't know.
Be before Raw.
Exactly. Yeah, I believe that's the case. I'm just not totally for sure on that, but I believe it is before Raw that they tape it. But did you know that this is not the only Saturday night's main event that they're bringing or that they're going to have? And I think with Triple H at the realms of things, at the reins of things, rather,
Yeah.
if I can get the right words, at the reins of things, I think Triple H, he's going to bring those nostalgia things, bring those nostalgia pay-per-views back, those PLEs, whatever you want to call them, back, and bring those shows back. And also, speaking of nostalgia, there's something that he gave to Cody Rhodes and said, "You're going to be getting this for one night only." And he gave him this case. It looks to be possibly a championship could be in it. The case was long enough to be a championship, and so a lot of people are speculating: could Cody Rhodes be coming to the ring tomorrow night or tonight as you're watching this? Could he be coming to the ring with the Winged Eagle Championship?
Oh, I mean, I'd say that's a safe bet.
Yeah. And with that being said, let's get into our first prediction. That is the WWE Championship match. It is the Nightmare Cody Rhodes defending against Kevin Owens. I don't know. A lot of people are saying that Cody's gonna lose the championship here. Who do you think's gonna win this match?
I'm kind of hoping that Cody would lose it. But I mean, not that I don't like him, but it's just like wrestling is just in this area where, I'm actually not sure now. That's one of the great things about WWE now is because there was a stretch of time there where it was just like you just knew everything that was going to happen every episode. Like you could just see how angles over months were playing off, and not so much right now. And that makes wrestling a lot more entertaining and investing and stuff. I don't think that they will. I believe that Cody Rhodes will retain his title, however, against Kevin Owens. Although I think Kevin Owens taking it or Cody dropping it, before WrestleMania would be worth the surprise. But it's just one of those things. It's like, if you do that, then you have to have something to do with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure creatively because they've been so focused on Netflix and stuff like that. So if I were a betting man, I would say Cody Rhodes wins, even though Kevin Owens might be the more interesting and appropriate choice.
I agree. I like. I'd like to think that Cody will win. At least that's so. I'm hoping that Cody wins because I'd love to see him have a long run with the title. I know people are saying that, and I can see where the argument is. People are saying that Cody's reign has been kind of stale after the chase, and because it is a saying, the chase for a championship is more interesting and more eyes are on that than really whether you're going to keep the title.
I mean, for anything, for anybody, like it's always about the chase. Yeah,
exactly.
So it is unpredictable. And as far as like his, title reign being stale, after he beat Roman Reigns, that was always like kind of the conundrum, which I was really hoping that they would have kept it on Reigns for one more year and go into this WrestleMania with like a Punk, Cody Rhodes, Reigns angle. I think may have been better. But that is kind of the thing that WWE has to gloss over. It's because like Cody gets that victory and that's awesome. But like, where does he go from there? Like there's no one else on the roster that could even pose, kind of a similar threat to stuff like that. But, the in-ring game has been stepped up, from a lot of people, Damian Priest included. He's one who his in-ring ability and character have really grown, throughout his programs with like Gunther and stuff like that. But
definitely.
Take on that match.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then we have the next match. It is for the WWE Women's World Championship. Io Sky is challenging the Women's World Champion, Liv Morgan. And you have to wonder, is Rhea Ripley going to be lurking around ringside?
Oh, yeah, that's a head scratcher.
I mean,
I wonder if she might play something into this match.
Yeah, you really have to wonder that.
I think obviously she will. The question is will that actually result, in Liv Morgan losing the belt? I'm not so sure. Liv Morgan's always tricky, especially when she's a heel or when she was a face, just because she is just such an underdog, just kind of by nature and her stature and stuff like that. And it's difficult to carry, a championship for a long time, at that scale. But I don't know. What's your take?
So I'm gonna pick Liv to win here.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, Rhea is gonna play some type of factor in this match. But I go back to this past week on Raw, where we had the kind of stare down between Io and Rhea. So I'm thinking maybe there's going to be some type of still involvement with Io and Rhea, not just Liv and Rhea. And maybe this will lead down the road to a triple threat match between the three of them.
I mean, if I were betting, I'd say that's a really good guess. And that seems like that would be kind of the appropriate, thing to do. I can't really imagine what else you could do effectively, but yeah, I would agree with you on that one.
Definitely. And then, so that's the Women's World Championship. Then we move to the Men's World Championship. And speaking of triple threats, this is a triple threat match as well. Damian Priest, the former World Heavyweight Champion, challenging, as well as Finn Balor, former Judgment Day teammates, challenging the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther in this World Heavyweight Championship triple threat match. I'm going to go with Gunther to retain here. I mean, I think it is interesting that Finn and Damian are both in this match together. I mean, I'm interested to see where it leads to. I think obviously we're going to end up leading up possibly to a WrestleMania match between Damian and Finn. So just ride that wave and see where that goes.
Yeah. Sorry, now that I'm thinking about Raw and stuff like that, I have to take another swig of my bourbon here because I got to tell about something on Raw that happened that just was not right.
Yeah.
So it's obviously going to be an awesome match. All three of them are amazingly talented, physically and stuff. I'm not worried about the match itself really or the storytelling, but I am really scratching my head on what WWE creative is trying to do with Gunther right now. The promo that he had on Raw whenever he was talking to Finn Balor, where it was, it was kind of along the lines of, Finn, I used to respect you, Finn Balor. I looked up to you, when I was coming up through the ranks, but then you started cutting in corners and you started cheating. And it's just such a cliched face, template of a speech. And it's something that Gunther would never say. And you could tell, it's almost like all wrestlers have it, I think we all remember Roman Reigns having the whole suffer and succotash line and stuff like that. But that clearly was a moment when, as a wrestler, they're getting that script from creative. And they're like, oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And that's what gets, because if you want to turn Gunther face, in my opinion, the easiest way to do that is he just doesn't cheat. Mm-hmm. He is one that is he's so awesome and he's so brutal and stuff. If you want to make him face, it's just I kick everyone's ass. That's what I do. I'm freaking Gunther. And that's all you need. Mm-hmm. And that it is going to be a face that is the kind he should need. Just a brute, brawler and stuff like that. So, gosh, I hope they don't keep going in that direction, with this weird face push with them, because I just don't think it works at all for the character. But, we'll see. I do believe he will retain, and I think he deserves to retain.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like they're kind of like doing like a tossy turvy type of thing with him. Like 1 week he's a face, 1 week he's a heel, or like last week he's a heel, this week he's a face. Like, make up your mind. What are you gonna do with the guy?
Yeah, it's inexplicable a little bit. It's like, good
Yeah,
lord, it's like
it really is. It really is. Then we have Sami Zayn taking on the one and only Drew McIntyre. Um, wow. Where do you
I'm,
go with
I'm
this match?
I'm so happy for Drew. Like, I've always been a Drew McIntyre fan, like, especially since 3MB and stuff like that. But his whole journey has been awesome. And I remember feeling so like bad for, I mean, it happened to everybody and stuff, but the fact that his main event at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar had to happen in an empty arena, with the pandemic and stuff, it's just like you feel, damn, man, like it sucks that that's how it happens. But since he's come back as a heel in his whole program, with Punk, Drew McIntyre is a really good example of how something really bad that you think would derail somebody can actually a little further down the road be really good and advantageous to them. So Drew McIntyre over Sami Zayn, if I were to guess, booking, like it doesn't really make sense for Sami to win over him. I don't think that Sami should be booked above. Finding what to do with Sami Zayn, I think, is going to be a little bit of a challenge now if it's not just completely, with the bloodline. So, but that also goes into what I do like more about wrestling in this age right now is that it is unpredictable. And it's like, yeah, I could see, but I really,
Yeah, like, because that's a great point, because I know when Jay was attacked backstage a couple weeks ago on Raw, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like Sammy, I'm like, Seth, you had to have something to do with this.
yeah.
I wasn't factoring Drew McIntyre. Like, who was predicting Drew McIntyre's and we still obviously really don't know that Drew McIntyre was behind it, which I'm sure he was. But I mean, look at what happened tonight on SmackDown. As we're recording this, what happened tonight on SmackDown? Drew took out Jimmy tonight.
Oh yeah,
with the Claymore, and so like it's kind of there telling you that he was the one that took out Jay. But ultimately, is it because of Roman? You think? That's what I'm leaning to. Like, is everyone leaning back to Roman? Everyone's upset that these people are going back to Roman.
I mean, with him having a title reign that long too, I think that hopefully, we don't know 100% sure that they're going to lean into it, but you saying that, and I'm thinking about it, is like that really could be an interesting dynamic. You could really stretch on it for a year, but for a couple months and stuff, have this huge angle where it really is all about like, holy crap, Roman Reigns had this, reign of terror on us for 4 years, and you guys are just like forgiving him on a whim and stuff. I feel like there's a lot of fun things that they could do with that notion and stuff like that. But yeah, at this point, it's just a matter of seeing. No idea for that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm gonna go with Drew as well. Actually, you kind of swayed me on that because at first I was gonna go with Sammy. I'm like, yeah, and then now to think about think about the Roman situation. Yeah, I think Drew too for the win here. And then lastly, I don't want to forget this match at all. We don't have the graphic for it or anything yet, but I do want to cover the one and only Women's United States Championship match, the crowning of a first ever Women's United States Champion between Mia Yim versus Chelsea Green. I'm gonna have to go with Chelsea Green here. I don't know. I just don't see Mia Yim being the one to pick up the win. Not discrediting her. I don't know. I think given Chelsea,
there is a chance it may go to her, but I agree with you. I think more than likely, yeah, it's going to be Chelsea Green.
Yeah, I mean, given Chelsea the title first, and her Karen-esque character, I mean,
Right.
it works.
It does. And I mean, you think about if they did make it an upset, and like it just doesn't seem like there'd be much benefit or what they could do for it, especially where Chelsea is. So yeah, Chelsea Green for the win on that one.
Definitely. And then so that wraps up all of the matches that are listed for WWE Saturday night's main event. So now we'll jump into OVW Christmas Chaos is actually also happening tonight on Saturday night as you're watching this.
Every
on
match in a
Saturday.
cage.
Yes, great. I'm glad you pointed that out because I was not thinking about that. Every match is going to be in the steel cage, and that is going to be exciting. We do have one match that was announced last night that we don't have a we do not have a match graphic for it, and because they have not posted one yet, so we do not have that one. That is, and we'll talk about this later. I'm just bringing this up though. Doug Basham, Leather Daddy Doug Basham, versus Mr. Proprietor of the Chop Shop, Cash Flow. And that's going to be in the cage. Again, every match in the cage. We'll talk about that match a little bit later towards the end of the predictions here. But the first match I want to talk about is a ladder match within a steel cage. Who would have thought?
Right?
So
now, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. We have this is, again, a ladder match for the Rust Division Championship. We have Manny Domingo. I'm sorry, no, Holta Peso. I always want to call him Manny. Holta Peso, the Rush Division Champion, Star Rider, Will Austin, the future Will Austin, OVW's resident superhero, Super Z, and Maximo Suave. And again, this is a ladder match within a steel cage.
Didn't they? I think like it was either this past one or the other one. They had a similar like ladder match with all of them. I don't think it was necessarily for the belt, or it was Thanksgiving Thunder. Maybe it's all kind of running together for me now. But I'm wondering, like, do you know? Because the last time OVW, this past time when they had a ladder match, it wasn't like climb and grab something as much as like ladders can just be used as weapons.
Can just be used as more, yeah.
Which is interesting, but it's like, hey, is that a ladder match?
Right.
Maybe. But do you know if it's going to be just ladders inside of a cage or if there's actually going to be climb? I'm with the cage there. Who knows? Do you know if it's going to be something suspended or just having ladders inside the ring?
I would hope it's going to be suspended above the ring. I mean, to me, that's what a ladder match is. Like you said, I don't think that just having ladders in the match and you pinning someone, I don't think, to me, that's not a ladder match.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing. And I mean, sometimes you can mix up or move past something and things. Like one at the TLC pay-per-view, that they created a while ago, they had, just a chairs match, and stuff where those were just legal. So I guess you could do that. But whenever you're saying like ladder match and you see a slew of people and the ladder behind them on the graphic, you're thinking climb up and grab something.
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna let you pick who do you see walking out as the Rust Division champion?
I am going. I give him a lot of flack, but Will Austin, I think at least would make the most sense out of all of those and stuff. Star Rider's legit. He's been champion for a while, but it's getting kind of to the point where I'm not sure how soon they're looking to shift away from that and stuff. But Will is the second they get like his creative on point, he is just such a phenomenal talent. And and the way they have kind of like pushed him on and off, I don't know. I think maybe that they would put Will over this. I mean, who do you think if you were to venture a guess?
So I like your thinking with Will there, but with the back and forth and the matches that Star Rider and Super Z have had. I feel like Super Z would
That's
be
true.
a good pick here.
Oof, you might have swayed me. If he's on one, he's number 2, or I'd say he's down close there. Yeah, it's one of those two. He doesn't have a singles championship yet.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think it is Z's time for a little bit.
definitely. So let's hope for Super Z here. And then we have a couple of tag team matches on the show. This is one of the first ones we have. I don't know if these are going to be in this exact order. Well, we have the returning Jesse Goddard's and Adam Revolver teaming up to take on Leo Fox of the Revolution and Shannon the Dude, or Shannon the Douche, or Dud, whatever you want to call him. Let me just first of all give props to, because I do like Leo Fox, and I do feel like he is someone in OVW that is going to be a force to be reckoned with. He already is, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with going forward. I don't think it's going to be long before he holds gold in OVW. With that being said, I mean, come on, it's Christmas Chaos. This is a match where Adam and Jesse are, especially Adam, is looking for revenge.
Yeah.
And I think Adam and Jesse are going to get that revenge.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would hope that they would go over. That makes the most sense in this situation. Having, Mr. Spectacular back in town is always, fantastic. He has a lot of fans there. Some people, not so much. But it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic with him and Revolver working together, as well as Shannon. And I do agree with you. Hussein O'Shea, he is a really good talent. I think going forward, it's just kind of finding some sort of personality or character in there a little bit is really going to help, like, kind of get that boost and stuff like that. But no, I think Shannon, you can't obviously get Shannon every single time. He slithers out of a whole lot, as you'd expect. But I think that he gets to slither out a little too often. And it's been, a year and a half before he's really gotten, the butt kicking he deserves. So here's hoping to, Shannon the Douche going down.
Yes.
Loser Blazer.
Exactly.
And we'll celebrate having Jesse Goddard back in the Ohio Valley for a little bit.
Yes. Completely agree. This next match is a tag team match, and it is for the OVW Tag Team Championships. And it's going to be the current champions, Beaches and Cream, Luscious Lawrence, and Omar Amir, defending against Tony Evans and Jay De Niro. And might I say, hush.
I love both those teams, but I do have to, congratulate. I got to show my Tuscan Chains swag and my Tuscan Chains little new towel back here, because on Thursday, they unfortunately lost to Tony Evans and Jay De Niro, which is why they're fighting for the tag team titles. But it was great to have T-Dub back. That was an awesome match. I just wanted to preface that. As far as this one goes, so Beaches and Cream are way over right now. I mean, their face turn has been pretty successful and really quick. Obviously, I think Cream and Chris had a little bit to do with that. Everyone knows he deserves that. But I think from a creative angle, Tony and Jay dethroning them would be a more interesting choice. One thing that happened recently in OVW that, is kind of a head scratcher, and you just never know what's really going on behind the scenes, but it is related to, this cage match. Flippin' A. whenever they had the Jay De Niro on a pole match, where it had the contract, I think it was at Thanksgiving Thunder.
Yes.
And Will ended up going up and retrieving it and stuff, and he won and he had the contract. And then Jay De Niro just like punched him and acted like, that's just not, going to happen. So I hope that maybe Will could get involved or something, can go back in with that. But that was kind of a bizarre turn of events, I thought.
I completely agree with you. I love how that happened, but I completely agree with you because it's no secret around here. I am a big Hush fan, and so and so yeah, I for one, like, I love Omar Amir and Luscious, but I would love to see Tony and Jay De Niro get the titles. Yeah, and I'm gonna hope for Tony and Jay to be the new OVW Tag Team Champions.
Right, which is true, and I mean, there's so much for a promotion like OVW. I assume that goes in the creative decision as opposed to who has like champions, and who goes over and stuff like that. But Tony Evans, especially the first leg of 2024, whenever he was Mr. C Plus from Mick Foley and stuff, like he really at that time was kind of solidified as a top heel. And, he won the belt from Luke Curtis on the waterfront. And that was pretty surprising at the time because Luke had just won it. And then I believe after Tony, that's when it went to Crixus. But Tony Evans is a heel who I think deserves a reign for a while, possibly the world championship. At the very least, he needs the mid-card belt, to hold that for a little bit because he really is great at what he does. And we'll see what's going to happen. I think he's going to have to mix it up at some point, especially with Jay and this, something's going to have to give eventually. But yeah, at least for the leg and the two of them together, I think that De Niro and Tony Evans deserve, a run as tag champs for sure.
Definitely. And then something else I was thinking, what if like you get Will Austin involved in this match and Will says, no, I'm going to take Tony's spot, or tells Jay, I own, I get part of your money or whatever from, part of your winnings. So I'm going to compete in this match for you.
Yeah. If I were to guess, I don't think Will Austin will be involved in the match. I hope he is. That's kind of like wishful thinking a little bit. But if not, that's the fun thing about it is wrestling can always go a million different ways.
It totally can. Yes. And that moves us on to the, I believe this is for the OVW Women's Championship. Although it doesn't say it here. So I'm just going to assume it is, but it's a knockout match.
Yes.
Freya the Slayer versus J-Rod in a knockout match inside of the cage. Wow, this is going to be, I think this could be potentially the match of the night.
Yeah, it definitely has that potential and feel to it. I mean, that's two of the best females, obviously, on the roster right now.
Yes.
Like, really hitting a good stride and stuff right now. So you're right. I mean, that is, I don't even want to call it a sleeper match because you just look at it and you know that they're going to tear it up. I do not believe that whatever happens in that match, I mean, I think the audience are going to win. I really do think it's going to be a big match. I would be disappointed if it's not one of the better matches of the night. As far as going into this, I believe it was also Thanksgiving Thunder when Freya was fighting J-Rod for the title and got herself disqualified, which kind of led to this knockout match, some of that, which sort of made sense. In the moment, I wish they had done it at a different point in the match because she literally got herself disqualified when she was like winning.
Yeah.
Ahead at the time. So that was really odd. It was like, what, you just beat her. It's like, you could do it. But besides that snafu, the two of them, it's just like, you don't, I mean, what I'm saying? You don't need words or promo for the two of them. You just need to let them in the ring and let them do their thing and believe that it's going to be badass because that's exactly exactly what it is going to be. It's been a great year for J-Rod. It's been a great year for Freya. I feel that Freya, has been up until recent months, on the back burner a little bit. Now, whether that's, I think, maybe going on the Danos tour has something else, going on. You never know what's going on in someone's career. But as far as OVW, she is really back in the spotlight right now at J-Rod. And I think that this is, the match and the feud that OVW fans want to see right now.
Most definitely. I think, I kind of see this, especially with the knockout stipulation to it. I can see this like as almost like an MMA type of style match, especially with the cage and stuff like UFC. It gives me UFC vibes.
Maybe. I hope they don't go that route.
Yeah.
I mean, we all saw Shayna Baszler and Rousey, at SummerSlam and stuff. It's just
very true.
Wrestling is legitimate, but just in the wrestling world, any wrestler trying to fight MMA, it's never worked. I don't think it's going to. Which, sorry, random throwback to WWE before you go back to OVW. You remember the flipping underground that Shane McMahon started for a while? That was like their backroom brawls and stuff like that. It's like, man, talk about a whoo.
I couldn't get into those
matches in wrestling, so I hope they don't lean full into that. I think it should just be a good wrestling match. One thing that I am interested to see is the count for the ref, because on Rise, last night, J-Rod scored a win, over someone by knocking them out, which generally doesn't happen, but clearly they were doing that, because it's a knockout match. But the count that the ref did to 10 wasn't really your typical out of ring count or last man standing 10. Like, it was just a solid duh, 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 five. And as long as it's consistent, that's okay. But I'm interested to see if the knockout match, if they're going to run that at the same pace as, how J-Rod, knocked her out.
Yeah, I think it should be something like, just like one of them gets knocked out, boom, that's it. No need for a count, boom, they're out.
I don't think that's actually the match that they're going to have. I think that's a good point, and you could do that. But I think in wrestling, like, especially too, yeah, that's a toughie.
Of course, I mean, I guess you could have the count, but because it is wrestling. But to me, like, I don't know, like, sometimes for me, a knockout is like, okay, you can tell that they're down, but they ain't getting back up.
Right, yeah.
After they've been hit real good,
So it's just like it's one of those things where the reason I don't think that would work practically, just for wrestling and stuff, is because it affects everyone else. Like, if all of a sudden an elbow or a punch is just going to lay somebody out, it has to have that effect kind of with everyone. That's, kind of an issue that AEW has been struggling with, I think, a little bit, whenever, you get tombstone twice on steel steps and like you're still kicking out. It's just like, well, how is anything going to put anyone, away? So that's a pitfall that I hope that they kind of avoid. I think they will, but I think it'll definitely be a count. I think it would have just been better making a last woman standing match. I think would have just kind of been a little more clear and to the point inside of the cage.
Yeah,
but
definitely. I agree, but like either way, I think it will definitely be one good match. And
so we didn't predict. Sorry, real quick. Do you think J-Rod or Freya?
Oh, J-Rod. Yeah, I'm gonna go Freya.
You think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Freya.
I'd like to see Freya win. If I were to like guess who I think they're going to have win, I think J-Rod retains. But I hope Freya wins, and we'll be pleasantly surprised if that happens.
Definitely. All right, let's move on to our next match here. We have an I Quit match. Wow, back-to-back like hard-hitting matches right here. Cal Hero versus Tony Gunn. This is another match that could really potentially steal the show here.
It could.
I mean, we've seen the feud going on with Cal and Tony. We've seen what happened at the last PLE, not Thanksgiving Thunder, but I can't think of the No Rest for the Wicked. I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
You know, where Cal hung Tony. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but I hope that's okay.
No, we'll just say how it is. Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of choked him. Let's just say that. But yeah. We've seen the feud, and it's been an intense feud that these two have had. Tony has literally brought Cal to his breaking point. And so, yeah, I think this is going to be one of those kind of the situation like Shannon the Dude or Shannon the Douche, where we talked about Tony's not going to have anywhere to run, anywhere to hide. Cal's going to get his hands on Tony.
Yeah, it's obviously the angle. It's probably one of the most interesting like character angles with like the Revolution and stuff going on, because generally it's just, you know, they're the Revolution and they're there and they're, you know, just bad guys and stuff. But like Cal and Tony actually have like kind of, you know, a character story going on that's really affecting both of them, you know, with like the history and stuff they have. So it has that more, you know, emotional beats to it. And I hope they do lean into that more. I have noticed that obviously since this has happened, even though it's still on his like entrance pick, Cal doesn't wear the fanny pack anymore.
Yes.
I think he's trying to move on from that. Granted, if that really is the case, that's what they're doing. I think they should just change the music and the graphic, maybe, because it's kind of like mixed signal. But what I hope happens, and what I think would be very interesting, is somehow through the story, like you could actually have maybe Tony Gunn feel a little remorse and stuff after it, like damn man, like I'm sorry, I get it, don't hurt, and like then you have Cal just you know kind of obliterate him. So it's not like a full heel turn, but how interesting it would be if he's looking. This is what he would have to do, I think, to break through the fanny pack if he's looking to break out of that and kind of, you know, the Kid or the John Cena-esque like kind of type of role. I mean, he does it really well, but if he is looking to break out of that, I think this is the best opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they've been leading to and kind of what they've been hinting at. And so if they were going to execute it the most efficiently, I think it would be their match happens somewhere throughout the story. Tony feels some semblance of remorse. I mean, we know Al's back. The Revolution's, you know, feels like it's crumbling and stuff like that. And Cal still is like, no, I'm definitely just going to let vengeance, you know, rule my emotions and stuff like that. Would be interesting. So that's what I think is going to happen. And it's what I hope happens.
Yes. So I'm going to go with the Cal here for this one. So you're going with Cal as well?
Yes.
All right.
With a darker turn. I'm hoping if Cal wins, I hope he does it because he has gone, you know, a little more dark side.
A little darker. Yeah, I like that. And then, so essentially we would get a kind of like a double turn, like Cal making the darker turn, and then Tony kind of makes that, okay, I'm the good guy again. Tony, the good guy again.
Right, because what the whole Revolution angle I think has been missing for a little while is it's just been a lot of like belt shuffling and stuff, and we're not really seeing like how these characters are actually being like affected and growing, you know, through all of like this turbulence and stuff like that. I think that Tony and Cal is what they have the most on point for that. Yes. And I think leaning into that is the right way to go.
I like it. I definitely like that. All right, the next match we have, this one feels like just honestly just thrown together. Not that I don't think it'd be a bad match, or good match, but so Jack Vaughn, the veteran Jack Vaughn versus Eric Surge. Honestly, I'm gonna go with Jack Vaughn here to pick up the win.
Hopefully, yeah, I would say so. Eric Surge, I mean, It's hard to remember. I'm not sure how many times recently he's wrestled on the main card versus like Overdrive and stuff, but his matches recently, I mean, he's been turning up every week and he has really been improving and delivering, and stuff like that. So I hope, the best for him. I think Jack, should go over right now in that instance. It's what's best for him. I hope that moving into the next year, we get a little more Jack Vaughn, kind of exclusive time and stuff like that, because we all been kind of missing him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, they're both on the up and up. And I will say Jack Vaughn's release, Sidewalk Slam, is blah. Like, it's always great to I love his freaking just let go Sidewalk Slam. It is one of my new favorite, like, technicals. You know what I'm talking about, right? He's been busting it out lately.
Yes. I tell you what, with Jack Vaughn, someone who I'd love to see come back to OVW like he was at the Pikeville show.
Yeah.
I would love to see Jack Vaughn and JBL.
Oh, damn. That would be awesome.
How great would that be? That would be really good.
Yeah.
Jack Vaughn and JBL. Well, that needs to happen. Somebody in OVW, Al Snow, book out Jack Vaughn versus JBL. Even if they're a team or something, book it.
Right. And shout out to Jack Vaughn, too. He is literally the only reason why I ever made a TikTok account just so I could watch his stuff. If you have not seen Jack Vaughn's TikTok, go down the rabbit hole. He is so spot on with pretty much everything he does.
It's hilarious. You'll always get a kick out of it too. I know the one he did this past week that I saw. He's talking about indie wrestlers going to the doctor.
Oh yeah, with all the conditions at the very end, it's like, yeah, well, people are kind of mean to me, and he's like, physically. Oh yeah.
When he talks about the rats, ask the rats. Ask the rats. I posted about that. I was like, the doctor's response. Rats. And what do you mean, or something like that?
I can't remember if it was you. They told me this either, but I believe someone told me, and maybe verify or not, that Jack Vaughn actually, like, during the COVID pandemic, was actually like a nurse during that, and then got back in wrestling. Had you ever heard that?
I hadn't.
Yeah. Well, if that is true, thank you, Jack. Kudos. Like, that's just makes you even more cool. You didn't think it could be possible, but yeah, just more Jack Vaughn. More Jack Vaughn, please.
Yes, I agree. I second that. Then we have another really good match right here. This is an Escape the Cage match, and it is for the OVW Media Championship. It is AJZ taking on the champion Dustin Jackson. And I tell you what I'm looking for in this match. I'm looking for Dustin. I'm picking Dustin to retain here. But also I'm picking, or what I'm hoping for in this match, because Dustin, I feel like he's like a human highlight reel type of person. He has that type of, he's not going to be in a steel cage match and not jump off that cage. I'll tell you that much. So I want to see something from off the cage from Dustin.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine that not being the case. So kudos. I'm a huge Dustin Jackson fan. He is so over right now. And like, I'm debating, it's like, I hate to go total fanboy, but it's like, if Dustin loses, I riot. It's almost kind of how I feel about it. Gosh, yeah, he really needs to retain. I mean, AJZ is a talent and stuff like that. What kind of has gotten to me the past couple of weeks that I wish, were a little different is, I mean, Dustin Jackson won that belt. And in the past 2 weeks, like, he's just been an afterthought. Like, I was really thinking that OVW a couple weeks ago was going to kick off with him, like with the belt, like having, I've got this, a championship celebration or something, because I thought, he'd been in it for so long in Louisville. But yeah, I really hope they don't just take it off of him, because you're right. He is a human highlight reel. So often he and Donovan Cecil, I mean, they've had some fantastic matches, and they are generally in match of the night, no matter what it is. I mean, Dustin Jackson delivers in every match. Yeah. You could make a legitimate argument that he is the best on the roster right now as a technical wrestler. I don't mean to knock anyone. Everyone, is great, and there's lots of different levels of talents, but I think you could legitimately argue the case that, Dustin's the guy right now. So at the very least, I hope he retains, and I hope that he gets a reign that really means something. And whenever he loses it, in introspect, we can all look back and be like, man, you held on to that and you had all this stuff behind it. It makes it a whole lot easier to let a belt go, I would imagine.
No, I agree completely. Then we have this next match is Sophia Rose versus, is it my pronunciation of her name is not going to be justified at all. Tatevik?
I just want to make sure. I'm like sidebar here. I just got to make sure. Did you watch Rise on Thursday?
Yeah. Yes.
Is that the same wrestler that beat Haley?
I believe so.
So many good things and stuff, but if I were to list most inexplicable what the heck is happening, like I'm so confused about it, of 2024, it would be what happened on Rise. Someone who joined the revolution that no one has ever seen before, or without any explanation, shows up and beats Haley. That was, everyone loves OVW, but that was kind of like, that's just a head scratcher. Like, I don't know if they're going somewhere with that. But, I see that match. I hope it's great. I like Sophia. I hope she gets a push. So if it were me, I'm going, I hope Sophia wins for sure. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like that whole match just kind of has this, what's going on, kind of thing. It's like maybe she'll talk and explain to us, where she's coming from or something. It was just a really odd choice to kind of introduce her in such a big way without introducing her.
Right.
Now, do you know her at all? Are you familiar with her as a wrestler or anything? Because we're all over. I was like, have you ever seen this human being on anything?
I have never heard of her.
Great. It was a good match, but everyone was like, no. Who? Like, it was just.
Yeah, I had never heard of her before.
Yeah.
Fun,
I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm gonna have to go with Sophia Rose just because
I hope so.
Not knowing what this girl is.
I mean, if you really have her come in and beat Haley and Sophia Rose like in back-to-back events, I don't really think that's smart creatively. Just because from an audience standpoint, that is going to make everyone be like, "All right, who does she know?" Right. Like, what's it? Yeah, it would just be really inexplicable. So hopefully, if that happens, they've got something going by way of a story. So we'll see.
I agree. Then we have the OVW Heavyweight Championship match.
Woo!
They're returning Luke Curtis, Mr. Certified himself, has returned, and he is going to be facing the Mountain of a Man, Mount Kadeem. This match is going to be so many good matches on the show.
Dude, especially with Luke being gone, I can't wait to see like him in the ring. I really, with the bottom of my heart, which by the way, his return on Rise, one of the best moments in OVW at recent history. Like, I don't know who out there knew. I didn't. Surprised the crap out of me, which I like. I like being surprised. I did not see Luke Curtis coming back in a million years to challenge for the belt. So I was really happy when that happened. He's really been missed. I'm hoping that they're keeping him around and they might put the belts on him and they can take it off, because it seems like the Revolution is crumbling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, Mount Kadeen takes him out. I guess Luke's going back somewhere else. I don't know. I'm really surprised about that. So I'm hoping at the very least, I think what needs to happen for Mount Kadeen is he needs to have the best match of his career.
Yeah.
Because he seems like awesome guy, talented, but he's obviously very young. And what they have been asked, like what he's being asked to do right now is it's a lot of pressure and it's tough. And he seems like he's up to it. But I also think he's still in that zone where he really has to, prove himself from a technical standpoint. But I think working with Luke really could give him that opportunity. So I'm hoping, as it turns out, that I want Luke to win. Yay, OV Dub, down with the Revolution. But I'm hoping that we see a fight in a battle out of Mount Kadeen that we haven't seen yet to this point. See him push to his limit,
Yeah, I agree. So are we going with? Do you go with Mount Kadeen to retain, or do we see?
Yes, if I were to guess creatively, if you were to ask me what I would rather happen, that's a tough one. I think you can make an argument for either case. I would say Luke just wishful thinking because that means he might actually be hanging out for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that they'll go with Mount Kadeen, and at least at this point, I think that that's probably the right decision.
I can say I agree with you. I'm going to go with Mount Kadeen as well. I'd love to see Luke come in and just win the title, because that means he would be staying around, obviously.
Right.
But I have to think who's going to be the one to take the title from Mount Kadeen. Does Crixus come back and take it from him?
Honestly, and I don't know what what his healing journey or anything has been like, but that's been one thing recently that I've really wondered too, is I get it. He doesn't have the belt. He can't wrestle, but where is he on the show?
Yeah.
I still feel like, he doesn't have to be there every week, but I still feel like Crixus could play some sort of part, in the whole thing, because the man is just brilliant. Just from a character and an angle standpoint, he totally gets it. I'm not sure what all the creative decisioning behind that is. But if I were to guess, I think that's what's happening. I think Mount Kadeen's going to retain. I think that even though, Cash worked, well with him and stuff, I think they're trying to bring Luke back to kind of give him something else and a push, kind of to the next level with, just agility and different things like that. Because I would say this would definitely be the toughest match of his career, or what should be, the toughest fight.
Definitely. Yeah.
Since he's won. Yeah.
I agree for sure. So that kind of wraps. Actually, no, it doesn't wrap it up, because we do have Cash Flow versus Doug Basham. Leather Daddy Doug Basham is going to be in a match. And I'm going.
It's you can't imagine him and Cash really going the distance or anything, but I'm sure they got something planned. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. That's got to be an angle. Matches like that, you're either really hoping for a decent surprise angle, or a decent surprise at the physicality of the match,
Yes.
and stuff like that. So maybe we'll get lucky. I think kind of moments like that I remember outside of OVW is Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin, at WrestleMania. We all knew that they were going to have a little belt, but who thought that their match would go on as long and be as rough? With him taking a back body drop on concrete. It's just one of those things you never thought that you would see. And I think this, could be that comparatively also.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm excited to see what we're going to see with it as well. I think if we do see a winner, I think Cash Flow gets the win here.
I hope so. There's been a lot going on with the Revolution storyline. There was obviously the AC, Brascott, Solon, and Davis went out, for a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
When this was picking up, and they kind of shuffled. and they have so much going on, and they have just mastered just so much stuff and have taken on just an unfathomable amount of work from what, that promotion is used to and stuff like that. So I wish them the best. I think it will be the best, but I'm really interested to see how they stick the landing for the whole Revolution storyline, that they can do some cool stuff with it. But yeah, that's what I'm really waiting for to see. And if they're going to be any returns, I mean, Al came back on Thursday. I thought that was, going to be, it was Thursday night was the night of returns.
Yeah. And this is a pay-per-view. And so you have to wonder and think that there would be some type of returns. This is your last show of the year. You want to go out with a bang. What more than a bang can you go out with than bringing some returns back?
Right.
I mean, it's Christmas. You want to have, maybe some Santa Claus surprises up the sleeve.
Yeah.
You got to think that something's going to happen along those lines.
It really is going to be interesting and suspenseful to see, because it's like, I'm hoping not that this is like, I am really interested to see whether they're just going to try and close the whole book on the Revolution thing going into the new year, or if they're going to do something to kind of carry it over. I don't think they have to lean full into that. I hope that like some repercussions are kind of felt, but I'm very excited to see, how tomorrow goes, because that's really going to shape how we're going into the new year. Because I mean, that's the last Davis show, I believe, until after the new year, isn't it?
The last show, yes, the last show of the year.
Yep.
And then we come back with the next pay-per-view would be the Nightmare Rumble, and so that's gonna be a huge thing. And so never know what's gonna happen out of that. And remember, the last Nightmare Rumble was the time Mick Foley came to OVW, and so you never know who could come to OVW. What major stars could come in next year,
Rumble's always, such an exciting time and stuff like that. Which I'll say, and I've told Cal this, if ever you're looking back at like top moments of 2024, the Nightmare Rumble, there was a spot where it was like Big Zoe, Shane Mercer. It was like 7 or 8 juggernauts like trying to eliminate each other, and Cal comes up and like lifts, and like there's this line of 7 people that all got eliminated at the same time that like Cal lifted over. And that to this day is one of the craziest spots I've ever seen in my life. So that was just, go back and watch it again. But Cal's mega elimination in Nightmare Rumble 2024 was one of the craziest things I've seen.
I have to go back and watch that. Yes. Wow.
I distinctly remember saying impossible out loud whenever it happened. And then, by golly, he did it.
Wow. Well, we do have our upcoming, end of the year show. So maybe we'll work on something and put a little video package together of highlight moments from OVW 2024, just to air on the show.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a great idea. I mean, there's a lot that's been happening and how this promotion's evolved, over the year, especially since wrestlers debuted and stuff like that. But it is an exciting time. And, if you haven't been to Davis for a while and want to come back, totally come back, man. They're doing a really good job. They're getting through this and trying to grow and stuff. But the in-ring talent that is working that promotion it's undeniable right now.
It truly is. OVW is stacked. Don't sleep on OVW if you're out there and you're thinking, OVW, what they're still around. Yes, they're still around, hotter than ever. Phenomenal talent, phenomenal workers. It's couldn't say more. The staff there, the family environment of OVW. There's nothing like it. There really is nothing like it. So that wraps up OVW for us for this week. Let me just go ahead and talk about. I have 2 pieces of news I wanted to cover. Tessa Blanchard, former TNA, she was the former TNA champion, world champion. She is returning to TNA, possibly this weekend rather. As they are tonight was TNA Final Resolution pay-per-view. And then also tomorrow night is a TV taping for TNA. And so Tessa Blanchard possibly returning to TNA this weekend. But she is set to return to TNA. So that's really cool. And then Rhino is finishing up with TNA tomorrow night. Or tonight as we're as this is airing live or as this is airing and premiering today on Saturday.
As far as Rhino
Mhm.
goes, it was like just an aside here. So I think it was pretty recent, but Rhino was giving an interview and stuff like that, and he just had this hilarious anecdote of himself because his one of his shtick is like, that no one has ever kicked out of the gore in wrestling history. Like no one's ever kicked out of the gore. And people are like, well, what about this? What about this? It's like, no, all those times they kicked out, that was a spear.
Right.
That wasn't a gore, it was a spear. Sorry, I know it's way off to the side, but that was he's awesome. He's got one of the sickest gore spear, whatever you want to call it. But yeah.
He does. And actually Rhino's a former OVW TV champion.
Yeah,
television championship was around, and so
he is a seasoned vet, man. He's been around the world.
He really has, and you have to wonder where is he going to go. He said he's not hanging up the boots, so
really,
I wonder.
Hopefully, then in the indie scene, helping kind of the up and ups and stuff like that. I think you're going to see a lot. It's one thing that I love just about that's changing about wrestling dynamic as a whole. Is it not only is the product getting better, but it feels like that the environment is actually, I mean, it's tough and you got to man up and stuff, but I think that the wrestling world is becoming more nurturing, for lack of a better term, and stuff like that. It's like, your health, whether you're hurt or not, if you need time off, like it actually matters because you're a freaking human being. And just for so long, wrestlers were not treated like that, and that's something I've kind of grappled with as a wrestling fan throughout history, but it took way too long. But just as an industry whole, it's exciting to see wrestling becoming more accessible just to everyone, and not having all the strings attached of you're gonna get pounded into the ground every week, the end, and stuff like that. So
exactly for sure. Well, that kind of wraps up this week's as far as news and everything that I want to talk about this week. I do want to go ahead and obviously we do have OVW Christmas Chaos tonight, and I don't have the flyer up to show the flyer, but I do.
OVWTix.com.
Yes, OVWTix.com for your tickets. And okay, here we go. Hot Point Davis Arena, December 14th, 7 p.m. So there you go. And again, get your tickets at OVWTix.com. And then want to plug Supreme Championship Wrestling, or Supreme Wrestling rather, in Madison, Indiana. And you can catch live pro wrestling every Saturday night. Supreme Arena, 2520 Lanier Drive, Madison, Indiana. Doors are open at 6:30. Bell time is at, I believe it says 7 p.m. All tickets are just $9. And then again, Final Friday is on the last Friday of every month. And so don't forget to check out Supreme Wrestling in Madison, Indiana.
I haven't seen that promotion. Is that, did I read that right? Do they broadcast live every Saturday?
They don't broadcast, but the shows are every Saturday.
Oh, their shows are every Saturday. Oh, okay, I got you. I was like, what?
yeah, every Saturday. And then next week is our big Christmas special. Yes, that's right. The Final Count presents our Facebook Live Christmas special at 8 p.m. live on Facebook, December 20th, 2024. Do not miss it. Don't miss out on the exciting Final Count Christmas special with special appearances by Mr. Santa Claus himself, the jolly old man, Santa Claus. And our feature guest, he is OVW star, the Mammoth, Donovan Cecil. He will be right here on the Final Count on Facebook Live. Also, our fans of the month will be on as well with us and talking to Santa Claus and the Mammoth Donovan Cecil with us. And that would be Michael Herm and Chase, his son Chase, will also be on next week as well with us. So this would be a pretty exciting episode.
Wish I could be there. Sorry, I'll do my cheap plug really quick. But Dad 2024 Friday nights, I'll be having my first baby girl. So sorry I won't be able to join you for that, but I'm so excited for you. And that's awesome. Check it out. Mammoth. That's a good guess, man. That's a good guess.
And we got some giveaways next week that we're doing too. We have 2 t-shirts that we're going to give away, signed t-shirts by Dark Clouds. That is to get bundles and Eric Darkstorm. So 2 t-shirts from them. We have it's not here with me yet. I don't have it exactly on me yet, but it is being sent in the mail to me. It is an 8x10, signed 8x10 by former WWE star Victor, one half of the Ascension. It does have Connor on there as well, but that's not signed. So if you ever see Connor at a show or anything, Big Con at a show, as he's now known by, go and pick that up. Get that signed. Because he's going to be on the 8x10 as well. So, but you already have Victor's autograph on there. So, and then with that being said, we're also going to possibly have a couple more giveaways. We'll let you know for sure on that next week or throughout the week. Just stay tuned to our social media, all of our social media pages. You can see them at the bottom of the screen. Or if you're listening to us, follow us on Instagram, X, and TikTok at the Final Count KY. Also, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/the Final Count KY. And real quick, we're going to go and do some plugs here right quick.
Got to pay them bills.
Yes, we got to pay those bills right quick. So let me throw on some money here. Some music.
Yeah, definitely need some Price is Right jingle going or something.
Right. All right. ColonelboBrand.com and use our promo code Final Count KY to save 10% at checkout. Again, go to ColonelboBrand.com. Use our promo code Final Count KY to save 10% at checkout. Well, first of all, with more on Collar and Elbow, let's throw it to our good friend, Mr. Al Snow.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
And there we go. And I'm going to let you take this next one. Mr. Neil, go ahead and take this next one.
Shop at www.shop.com using our personal link in the description of the episode below.
There you go. And head on over to jcounty.app.com now to get your official Final Count, the first official Final Count hoodie or t-shirt. For hoodies are only $45. T-shirts are only $25. Again, that's the first ever Final Count hoodies the only hoodies that we have, $45, and then the t-shirts are just $25. Then we also have our second version of the t-shirts on our website, which will be in the description of the episode as well. Then I'm gonna let you read this one, Neil.
Don't forget to check out the audio version of the podcast. You can catch it on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and iTunes.
There we go.
All those places.
Yes. And last, but certainly not least, head on over to w.gg and use our promo code Final Count KY to save 10% at checkout. Is your taste buds favorite energy drink? Again, that's w.gg. Use promo code Final Count KY to save 10% at checkout. Your taste buds favorite energy drink, and your taste buds will thank you. And with that being said, as I cut this music off, that has been a great episode, another great episode. Looking so much forward to next week. Looking forward to tonight at LVW Christmas Chaos. And looking forward to in a couple weeks when you're back, Neil, as well. I wish you luck with everything next week as well with the birth of your daughter.
Grazie, thank you.
It's going to be great. Going to have to give us an update on how everything's going and how you're doing.
100%.
And so looking forward to it and the miracle of birth. So
definitely.
And again, early congratulations as well. And with that being said, for right now, I'm Rymode Mosley, and this is Neil Brewer, GM of BullPen Pro Wrestling, who you can check out the next BullPen Pro Wrestling show in February. What's that date again for the February show?
February 15th.
February 15th. And we're going to get promoting on this on the show here soon. And so more than likely next month for sure. Definitely be looking out for that for when we start to promote on the podcast. Matches are already being announced on the BullPen page as well. So you definitely want to go check out the BullPen Pro Wrestling Facebook page and also Instagram as well. Check out all the matches being announced. Some great matches being announced. I'm excited about a ton of them. And so, definitely look at, it looks like it. It looks like it for sure. So with that being said, for right now, we will see you down the road.